While marijuana remains illegal under federal law, 10 states have legalized the drug for recreational use. Governor Cuomo had planned for New York to follow suit, but did not include revenue from pot legalization in his upcoming budget. He told WNYC that members of the state legislature need more time to talk about it. When it comes to the nuts and bolts of how legalization would work, there's a lot to discuss. Take a look.
If you ingest weed in whatever manner a month ago, I'm not sure how that prevents you from doing your job now.
The prospect of legalized marijuana for recreational use is looking more and more like a reality in New York. Public advocate Jumaane Williams and fellow members of the City Council's Progressive Caucus have put forth a package of bills that would prohibit practices built around the criminalization of cannabis. Such practices have been enforced disproportionately in communities of color and can block people from getting housing, jobs, loans, and custody of their children. On the docket for this meeting, one bill to prevent drug testing of parolees and another submitted by Williams to prohibit pre-employment drug testing.
It's important that we don't conflate that with saying that people are now allowed to come to work high, because they're not. What we're saying is if we're not testing for alcohol, people are not allowed to come to work drunk. We should also not be testing for marijuana. People are still not allowed to come to work high.
Williams, like lawmakers across the country, is looking to precedent set by alcohol regulation as guidance for how the city should treat legalized marijuana.
All we're saying is treat it very similarly. Right now we're not. We're moving toward marijuana legalization. So are we now going to say that something that's legal should also prevent you from having a job?
At this city council stated meeting, the bills to prevent drug testing of parolees and of job candidates pass. Williams says the council is also looking at a bill to prohibit marijuana use from being the sole reason someone can't get a license in New York City, be it to drive a TLC vehicle or to cut hair. And on state issues where the city council can't legislate, like NYCHA regulations, the council has issued resolutions to show Albany where it stands.
I had a resolution last stated actually trying to prevent NYCHA from using that as the sole issue to prevent someone as well. Unfortunately, unlike this, which we made law, was a resolution just asking the state to act.
The state legislature has a lot on its plate. Albany is looking at who will be able to sell marijuana, how revenue will be distributed, and how to rectify a long history of uneven drug law enforcement. State Senator Gustavo Rivera.
We must deal with the restorative justice aspect, which means, one, we need to deal with folks who have records prior to currently, to right now, and make sure that that is either expunged or hidden from view so that that can't have an impact on a person's life. And then going forward, we want to make sure that there are entrepreneurial opportunities for both the communities that have been negatively impacted, as well as the individuals themselves who might have had criminal justice involvement, who might have been part of the illicit marketplace, and now we want to make sure that they do benefit from that.
Another priority for Rivera, who's chair of the Senate Health Committee, is expanding New York's medical marijuana program. That could be included in the upcoming package of marijuana bills. One of his concerns is the limited list of conditions covered by the program.
We've had to go back and include other conditions. We actually just included PTSD last year, and the program has been in existence for, at that point, probably 4 years.
Despite the momentum behind the issue, legalization of marijuana for recreational use remains controversial. A spokesman for State Senate Minority Leader John J. Flanagan told Metro Focus state Republicans have not yet conferenced on the issue. Members of the state legislature on both sides of the aisle have their reservations. Not to mention the pushback legalization has received from heads of organizations like the State Association of PBAs and the New York State PTA. Executive Director Kyle Belokopitsky says today's pot is far more potent than the stuff of the 70s and 80s.
What we see, again, in Colorado and Washington is a very different story than what the proponents are saying. We see things like, unbelievable rates of teenage and young adult use of marijuana. We see accidental ingestion by children of marijuana edibles. We see skyrocketing rates of driving under the influence. These are all really harmful to children and their families, and we're going to continue to do everything we can to stop this law.
According to a study conducted by AAA, incidents of fatal accidents involving THC in Washington state doubled 4 years after pot was legalized for recreational use. Some states have zero tolerance policy for drivers with THC in their system, while other states have set a legal limit. But unlike an easy-to-administer breathalyzer test for alcohol, THC is best tested through blood or urine, a non-starter for roadside testing. In a statement, a spokesperson for the governor said, "The state, in coordination with the Governor's Traffic Safety Commission, will reinforce and develop traffic safety tools, including increasing drug recognition expert and advanced roadside impaired driving enforcement training and certification for law enforcement, improving research and data collection on the impact of cannabis on traffic safety, strengthening the penalties for driving while impaired by the combination of alcohol and drugs, collaborating with the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee to develop and disseminate traffic safety messaging, including a robust traffic safety educational campaign, and developing an oral fluid pilot testing program, similar to breathalyzers, to test the effectiveness of oral fluid swabs to detect impaired driving." Reports say Governor Cuomo is hopeful marijuana legalization will happen by June. In Manhattan, I'm Maddie Orton for Metro Focus.